You're live.
To be relocked down.
Start over.
Oh, really? Okay. Hey, y'all, welcome to Slow News Day Live. My name is Steve Poikin, and I'm here in soon-to-be re-locked down Boulder Creek, California. And I did not get a show in this morning. I did like a overnight camping thing with my youngest kid. And I had a couple of scheduling conflicts, but I did want to get some content out today because my fucking channel has just been lagging due to my brutal fucking work schedule. So this is gonna be an ask me anything. If anyone has any questions, please throw them in the chat. I do have that window open. And I also wanted to kind of talk a little bit about I guess our upcoming new Cold War, because in regular media, legacy media, there were, since I suppose what, Thursday, maybe it was Friday. We'll check because we've got that article. But the New York Times broke a pants shitting headline that Afghan soldiers had been receiving bounties offered up by the one and only specter of doom himself, Vladimir Putin, for the lives of U.S. soldiers. Now, this report was it was titled like U.S. intelligence experts say, or according to U.S. intelligence experts. It offered up zero proof, and no one was willing to go on the record to address it using their own goddamn name. Rob Juno, thank you very much for the super chat. I'll make sure. Actually, I'm paying a whole. Your beer money is going to paying Josh's server costs this month, I think. But I'll make sure that he gets a drink or two out of it, for goddamn sure. I don't want to go to the New York Times because I think it's all behind a paywall now, but we will take a look at Caitlin Johnstone's article breaking it down. If you could please pull that up, Josh. Right on. So let's jump right into this. And before I start, man, I have an enormous amount of love and respect for Caitlin Johnstone. I fucking wish she did interviews, and I believe that her writing is what punk rock should sound like in 2020. So with that said, all Western mass media outlets are now shrieking about the story the New York Times first reported, citing zero evidence and naming zero sources, claiming intelligence says Russia paid out bounties to Taliban-linked fighters in Afghanistan for attacking the occupying forces of the U.S. and its allies in Afghanistan. As of this writing, and probably forevermore, there have still been zero intelligence sources named and zero and zero evidence provided for this claim. As we discussed yesterday, the only correct response to unsubstantiated claims by anonymous spooks in a post-Iraq invasion world is to assume that they are lying until you've been provided with a mountain of hard, independently verifiable evidence to the contrary. The fact that the New York Times instead chose to uncritically parrot these evidence-free claims made by operatives within intelligence agencies with a known track record of lying about exactly these things is nothing short of journalistic malpractice. The fact that Western media outlets are now unanimously regurgitating these still 100% baseless assertions is nothing short of state propaganda. Here's this tweet from John Hudson from 2 days ago. We have confirmed the New York Times scoop. A Russian military spy unit offered bounties to Taliban-linked militants to attack coalition forces in Afghanistan because, you know, the only possible fucking reason that the Taliban would want to shoot at U.S. troops is because Russia told them to, and not because we're an occupying army that has spent goddamn near 2 decades in their country wreaking fucking havoc. Only because Russia. Yeah, again, Beth, like, she does not do interviews. She's done with it. I've talked to her a couple of times. I wish she would, but maybe as we get closer to the trial, it'll click that, holy fuck, maybe I should do an interview about this. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's scroll down a little bit here to these quotes. The Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post have confirmed our reporting. The New York Times story's co-author Charlie Savage tweeted, "We have confirmed the New York Times scoop. A Russian military spy unit." I just read that. "We have matched the New York Times' great reporting on how U.S. intel has assessed that Russians paid Taliban to target U.S. coalition forces in Afghanistan, which is a pretty stunning development." According to the Wall Street Journal's Gordon Lubold, Caitlin Johnstone says all 3 of these men are lying. Hudson's claim that the Post article he co-authored confirmed the story twice uses the words "if confirmed" with regard to his central claim, saying Russian involvement in operations targeting Americans if confirmed, and the attempt to stoke violence against Americans if confirmed. This, of course, is an acknowledgement that these things have not, in fact, been confirmed. The fact that both Hudson and Lubold were both lying about having confirmed the New York Times reporting means that Savage was also lying when he said they did. When they say the report has been confirmed, what they really mean is that it's been agreed upon. All 3 of them actually did was use their profoundly influential outlets to uncritically parrot something nameless spooks want the public to believe, which is the same as just publishing a CIA press release free of charge. Jumping down a little bit, none of this should be happening. The Times has admitted itself that it was wrong for uncritically parroting the unsubstantiated spook claims which led to the Iraq invasion, as has the Washington Post. There is no reason to believe Taliban fighters would require any bounty to attack an illegitimate occupying force. The Russian government has denied these allegations. The Taliban has denied these allegations. The Trump administration has denied that the president or vice president had any knowledge of the spook report in question, denouncing the central allegation that liberals who are promoting the story have been fixated on. Yet the story is magically transmutated into an established fact despite its being based on literally zero factual evidence. I can't stress enough how important it is to, when you see unverifiable claims, to, as Caitlin Johnstone said in a tweet earlier this week, to just repeat it in your head as U.S. intelligence says, blah, 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 bullshit. That's all it is, 100% bullshit. Oswissels, who would I prefer as president? Biden, Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping, Maduro, Assad, Assange, other. Please elucidate. To be perfectly honest with you, Oswissels, and we can cut the article too. I don't know if it is or not. I'm watching on YouTube and there's a delay. To be perfectly honest with you, like, the people that I would want for president would never take the fucking job. Like, let's take Julian Assange for an example. Although he's an Australian citizen, you can't run for president here, even though he can be charged under the U.S. Espionage Act. Dude, I don't want to live in a country where there is a central authority figure who has his strings pulled by the national security state. I don't want to live in a country where the worth of a person is tied to their economic value by what they have in their bank. I advocate collective ascension and moving to a cashless society where work and government and everything related to those two things become redefined. So, if I had to vote for a president, I'm going to do what I've done since 2008, and that's vote for Cynthia McKinney. I've written her name in 2012 and 2016. There is not a candidate that I feel like I can support, even as a fuck you to the rigged system. I know that there's a lot of I don't know, mixed emotions, and that tempers are running high in the Green Party, especially surrounding the coronation of Howie Hawkins and kind of the shoving to the side of Jesse Ventura. But again, Jesse Ventura is not a fucking Green. He's just not. Say hey to some folks in the chat here. Lisa, Rob Juno, Holly Horn. Cosmos, very good to see you. Mad Mummin. Yeah, fucking love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hi, B Panda. Your new haircut looks fucking awesome, by the way. Vermin Supreme has the boot hat. But you know what, dude? A friend of mine, a kid who's unfortunately grew up with the name Zion in almost all like non-Jewish community. His aunt and uncle are like really good friends with Vermin Supreme, and they have a place in Hawaii. That's where they live. And every time Vermin Supreme vacations in Hawaii, he goes to Zion's aunt and uncle's house. So he'll send me pictures of like him hanging out with Vermin Supreme, and I'm like, guy, get the fucking guy on my show. But because I have pissed this person off so much by pointing out just how rigged our system is, he will not help me get Vermin on the show. Do I think that the U.S. is collapsing into a failed state, 50 million unemployed in the COVID shit? I think the U.S. was a failed state before COVID. I think COVID is the excuse to turn an already failed state into a post-pandemic police state. And I think that there's more than enough to substantiate that, especially if you've been reading Whitney Webb or Vanessa Beeley, Patrick Henningsen, listening to Jason Burmis, and you followed along with all of these simulated exercises that go back all the way to 2001 that shows how to move the entire West into a post-pandemic police state. Candles. Hey, Alex, how's it going? Candles for Assange is listing 32 cities for Julian's birthday. Some are online protests, some are street, some are solo ones. I think that is incredible. The Candles events, if I'm not wrong, Alex, and you can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but the Candles events are only a year old, right? Like you started this on Julian's birthday last year, if I'm not mistaken. Alex, one of the very first guests on the Free Assange Vigil. We are going to be celebrating our 1-year anniversary of the Free Assange Vigils. Sleepy Josh, if you have the GoFundMe handy, if you could pull that up, I'm gonna pitch it right now. We are just shy of $2,000 in the GoFundMe as of right now, like just shy, like $2 shy. We have a lofty goal, and I'm going to explain that because it's been brought up a few times by a handful of people. Like, why are you trying to get 10 grand? Here's why. It's a 3-week long deal. We're looking to, sleep under a roof during that. I know it sounds a little bit selfish, but we're trying to house 10 to 12 activists for at least 2 or 3 weeks. And the Airbnb costs alone, right now are anywhere from like $5,500 to $7,500. So the bulk of that will be going just so we can have a place to crash while we're there. And that's why. I have said before that if you super chat during the show, then I'm rolling all of those into the GoFundMe. I'm going to have to wrap that at the end of July because it takes 2 to 3 months for YouTube to pay out on those super chats. Actually, I kind of, if I want it to go to September, I should probably stop it in a couple of days. But YouTube also takes like 40% of that super chat. So it is less painful to us if you, and to yourselves, if you want your dollar to go a little bit further, it goes further by donating directly to the GoFundMe. GoFundMe's big is like 10% compared to 40. You know, Fredward, technically, if you cantilever out far enough from the roof, you don't need walls at all. Now, that would make it a little bit easier for the NatSec goons to come and fucking raid our shit. But we've got Sleepy Josh, who hopefully will be with us, and we are going to do everything to make sure that Sleepy Josh can drive an MRAV into our no walls GoFundMe purchased roof, structure, and he'll be up there with like a 50 cal just waiting. Kidding. It'll be a 45 cal. You would be fucking surprised how expensive walls are. It is absolutely insane. Please throw questions this way because I did not plan a fucking thing for this outside of the Caitlin Johnstone article. And I really wanted to hang out with you guys and get a show in because I do miss you. I do. It sucks that I have to fucking break my ass at work 5 days a week. I am going to try to skip out of work on Friday so that I can make it up to San Francisco for the action taking place at the British consulate for Julian's birthday. Big shout out to both Steve and Jeannie from the Bay Area Committee to Free Assange. Those guys are awesome, and they've done some good events, and I've been part of them in the past and would like to be I would like to be there on Friday. Oz whistles. The sheeple were comfortable in their field of green. Then the grass ran out, and the sheep had no idea what to do except get bunty. Easy to direct the stampede down to the abattoir. Yeah, no, I mean, do I wear a mask? Occasionally, because masks are mandatory here in California. So if I have to go inside a store to purchase something, I alternate between a bandana and one of these. I normally go grocery shopping in the Fox mask. I haven't been yelled at for it having nose holes before. So I'm going to keep doing that. Is my one little like, fuck you. Was my strategy to win World War III. To keep fighting and to educate. I think World War III is already like well underway. What do I most wish I heard from official China? You mean like the Communist Party government apparatus? What I would like to hear most from them is that they're disarming and that they no longer wish to live in a world with nuclear weapons, and that they have claimed their rightful place as the I guess the power, the emerged power of the 20, we're in the 21st century now, or 22nd. I think it's still the 21st century. We're in the 21st. Jesus, I've taken like 2 hits the entire day. Let me catch up with myself here. I'd like to hear China claim itself as the emergent power for the 21st century, and that their mission is to live in a world that actually does not possess nuclear weapons. We'll see. We'll see. Will the Karens yell at me if I don't wear a mask? Straight up, dude. Let me tell you, that was Liam, right? I think. Yeah, so this happened to me right when they started locking down California. I was at the gas station and I did not have a mask on, and there was a woman like 3 pumps away who did have a mask on and who was screaming at me, and I could tell she was screaming at me, but I couldn't understand what she was saying, so I kept going like, huh? No, I can't. So she took her mask off to yell at me for not wearing a mask, and I just smiled at her. And she turned about 7 shades of red, popped her mask back on, and waited until I had gotten into my truck and driven away. I saw another question up here before the super chat. Grateful Heretic. Hey, William. What do I make of the rumors that they're actually transferring the Vatican powers to China? That's a new one to me. Send me something about it. For sure. Matthew Dorr, thank you for the super chat very much. Hey, Steve, love the show. What are you feeling on progressive pundits, some of whom I've interviewed, not being at all skeptical of the COVID-19 narrative or the lockdown? It disappoints me. All right. Like, these aren't just colleagues or people that I play in the same sandbox with. Some of them are friends of mine. And it does, man. It disappoints me. But I don't want to live in a world where everybody agrees on everything all the time. I think that would be boring as fuck and just dumb. So I try to send them stuff. I remember like back in January, man, right as Zero Hedge was getting kicked off of Twitter, I sent Craig Pasta a few of their articles, and it actually got him to look at it a little bit differently. So, I think there's hope. I get the thing I'll say is that you don't become a progressive quote unquote pundit unless you've done a little bit of questioning of the official narratives. So having that conversation is a little easier, although with COVID, it becomes incredibly personal because people are losing family members and it's being attributed to COVID, whether or not they got shot or had a cop fucking put their knee on their neck and kill them from lack of oxygen, written down as COVID. So if somebody thinks their family member died from it, they're going to have a visceral emotional reaction to anyone who's challenging the Fauci sort of narratives there. Did I miss anything? Bobby Foxglove, I feel super reluctant to even be tested for stupid 19. I guess if I had severe symptoms, I might feel less reluctant. My workplace required it. I might have to quit. I'm right there with you, dude. I'm not getting, I know. Like, I'm convinced that I had it last like late October, early November. I was down for like 3 weeks, felt like shit. It was all upper respiratory stuff. And I talked my wife out of getting tested when she thought she might have it in like February or March, and finally did. Like she backed down from it. I think it's a great way to. I don't know, man. Like the whole testing thing bugs the shit out of me. Burmis just did a video about the University of Tennessee requiring an eventual COVID vaccine and also a flu shot before they allow people back at school. Now, these are the same medical professionals that go on record saying this is nothing like the flu, but they want you to take a mandatory flu shot. That's a fucking head scratcher to me. Broke 2K on GoFundMe. Fredward. Hell yeah. Thank you. And by the way, today we're going to be putting together a thank you video action for Assange's, to express the incredible amount of fucking love that we have for you guys that have donated to this. So and to follow up, Bobby, the second part of that question, like the company that I work for is me and one other guy, and he's like a 62-year-old grizzled Pennsylvania hill country fucking just hard bastard, and he's not getting tested for this. So fortunately, the job that I do have isn't dependent on whether or not I take a COVID test. Unless they've developed a strain-specific test, all who've had a flu shot within the last year might come up positive for it. That's a great point, Mystery. It is. And I saw a comment in here a little bit of, oh yeah, trying to be fun. They aren't selling enough vaccines. It's a big moneymaker. The tests are a considerable moneymaker because those are all like pop-up organizations, or a lot of them are pop-up organizations that are being contracted through hospitals and healthcare facilities because the healthcare facilities themselves don't have enough tests or the right tests or whatever. So I mean, that's a great scam in and of itself. It really is. I can spell COVID. I know it's SARS-CoV-2. I passed the test. That's great, Fredward. That's fucking hilarious. Is there anything gives me cause for optimism right now? Because it looks like civilization is going down the tubes to me, Liam. Yeah, dude, there's all kinds of things that give me I've often described myself as like a terminal optimist or an optimistic cynic or something of that contradictory of that nature. But yeah, dude. I mean, look, I'm an activist for Julian Assange, and that's like one of the hardest things that you could possibly sign up for post 2016 is to be an advocate for Assange. But because I'm an activist, I always do maintain a core of optimism that our ability to communicate will break either algorithmic censorship or the fact that a lot of content creators are monetarily afraid to talk about it. Like, I think as we get closer, there's going to be a give, and I think that has a lot to do with the new and expanded charges, or not the expanded charges, but the expansion of the indictment, the superseding indictment that came out against them. I have kids, man. I don't talk about them a lot because I don't, at least not online. Like Sleepy Josh and Mean Panda, like I, when I'm talking to the crew about it, sure. But I don't like. I can't be completely pessimistic about the future that they're going to have. I do think that it's in all of us to be able to ascend and to fucking not be as contained by, I don't know, the trappings of predatory end stage capitalism as we are. I think that the kids are cynical as fuck pretty early on because they now live in an era of constant surveillance and an attachment to a goddamn device that you have to pry it a fucking way from them. But I think that because of that, there's going to be a point in a few years where the kids that are teenagers now to like 25 or pushing 30 are going to be like, fuck, I've had enough of this. We're going to reorganize society. By God, I'm optimistic about that, even though there isn't much evidence to show that it's happening. That's as close to a faith-based statement as I will probably make. Tony watches closely. How about them Jesus Christ, releasing G mosquitoes in August? Yeah, they fucking announced like, oh, we've got these genetically modified and enhanced mosquitoes, and we're going to set them free into the world. I don't know, dude. Buy some fucking bug spray. Figure out what naturopathic or homeopathic remedies there are, or fucking, you know, bug sprays there are, because you don't want to be putting DDT on your body. But yeah. What was that? I'm trying to read this. So, okay, look, let's talk about that, Liam, because I don't know if you read or had the superseding indictment broken down to you yet. Yes, it does look dire for Julian Assange, but there are also entire segments of the global population that is only recently being woke up to what's happening to him and how it affects all of them. And I think that the pressure by Alyssa Johnson and Doctors for Assange has done a lot to move people who would otherwise turn their nose up at like internet activism. I think that the fact that it is so clearly politically motivated is both a great sign for us in the movement, but also a giant portion of why that superseding indictment happened. Yeah. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of reasons to harbor some positivity and some hope about Julian's situation, because it couldn't be more obvious what they're trying to do to the guy and how they're trying to do it and what the effects of those are going to be on investigative journalism, on the way that media operates in general, and on what t-shirt? Maramiar? I don't understand. Kathy Lloyd, thank you for the super sticker. Some wacko NatSec attorney called supporters of Assange the radical left for supporting the First Amendment. Yeah, no. And look, man, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read these comments while I'm doing that. You see a lot of this where like either Assange or the movement to support Assange is painted as some sort of like left-wing or liberal cause or something like that. I'm registered to the California Libertarian Party right now because I voted for Adam Kokesh to become the nominee, and I had to sign up to be a member of the party in order to do that. But like, I've met a lot of people who come from like the Ron Paul side. I've met a lot of people that come from like the formerly from the Alex Jones quadrant of the internet. The whole thing about this is that it's a post-partisan gig. Like, I personally don't believe that you can have a conversation about policy or politics in general without being able to, you know, access unfucked with information, unspun data, unspun documents. And unless we can do that, we don't, you know, we're not going to have the type of partisan arguments that will solve anything or will have a shred of honesty behind it. You can have all the conviction in the world. You can speak from a place of faith and a place from belief. But if you don't have what the real information is in front of you, that's all it's going to be. You're only going to be giving me a faith-based argument. And I kind of like facts. I really like primary source information. I like to be able to digest it on my own without having someone who makes, $18 million, $32 million, $3 million, or fucking $850,000 a year explain it to me. That's one of the things that pisses me off so much about the whole fucking the way that Black Lives Matter is perceived, the way that they run, the way that they're funded. Like, it's such a simple idea, and it's such a simple mission statement, and it's a concept that people should be able to agree upon damn near immediately. But because of who backs it, it looks like a color revolution, because people are being fed manufactured confusion every single day, 24 hours a day, non-fucking stop. They're trained to push back, and they're trained to close their ears to any sort of rebuttal. And people have so fucking allowed themselves to become, I don't know, dude, automatically responding contrarians. It fucking kills me. I see something about The Last American Vagabond in the chat. Ryan will be my guest next Sunday. He'll be back on the show. Hey Josh, if I send you a video, do you think you could prove it? It's 1 minute and 17 seconds long. It's the guy I'm having on. Can I put it in the Jitsi chat? Okay, well then it's going to Twitter. I'm sorry. Thanks for hanging out during our mid-show production meeting. Did you know that A4A has been accused of like being scripted and funded? Did you guys in the chat know that? I don't know if we've ever talked about this or not, but from very early on, and I think it was one of the part of the Llama crew, the Jemmy's Llama account, which is a total fucking Fed account. I think she tried to say we were like funded and scripted. Action for Assange has done one fundraiser, got Taylor to London, got us to DC. We're doing another fundraiser. Taylor's going to London with Activism Munich. So this is for the A4A crew that's going back to DC. Tony watches closely. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. Sorry I couldn't do much after last week's problems, but here you go. Look, man, everything helps, dude. Thank you so much, bro. Like I really, 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 really appreciate all of this. I do. You guys are incredible. I honestly don't know how to fix. I don't know what kind of truck you have. It's hard to diagnose, but I know how much it sucks when your fucking water pump goes out. At least they're easy on a Toyota. So this is all I'll say. I don't currently own a Toyota. But so check it out, man. This video is circulated pretty widely. You see it a lot occasionally on Twitter, but it's got a ridiculous amount of views. The following Sunday, which is the 12th, I believe, I will be joined by this gentleman who, despite what the title of the video says, is not a homeless man. Circulated pretty widely. You see it.
If you're Republican or you're Democrat, you're wrong. Why? It's this easy. It's called divide and conquer. That's why there's two parties and only two. And they're controlled by the same people at the very top who belong to the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberger Group. They also belong to the Trilateral Commission, and you people don't even know what the hell that is. But if you did know, you would know that these are the people that control your world by making global policies that you never vote on, and by which parties both serve and belong to these organizations and control your world. Now, Here's how it works. Really easy. Divide and conquer can only work if the people that are divided are not aware of the falsely created division. If you're not aware of it, then it works. If you know about it, then it don't work no more. If you have socialism without capitalism, it becomes communism. If you have capitalism without socialism, it becomes fascism. And it's just that easy.
I love you.
That's all you need to know. That's why Masonic symbols are all over your freaking money. But you don't pay any attention. Ridiculous. This guy's got...
So, Mean Panda. Is this guy real? Does everybody see him too? Check this shit out, dude. He'll be on the show, not next Sunday, but the following. This guy I've known for 20 years. His name's Rook. I'll let him use his real name if he wants to. That particular character is part of one of the mud shows at Renaissance festivals. That particular character is named Skidmark. That rant was completely impromptu while he was trying to make some noise and get people into the seats at his show. But I've known this dude since the very first day that I got in the truck and went and joined the Renaissance Festival. For sure, William. So I should probably it's not about Chesley. That was a chick in a biker bar his first year on the road. Started calling him Rook, which was short for rookie, because he was the new kid. And it just stuck. So Rook was the campground director at the Arizona Renaissance Festival in 2001. So it's not entirely 20 years, but in 2001, I was up in Sandy, Oregon, which is right by the Mount Hood area, and I worked at a place called Paola's Pizza Barn. And the neon sign up in the front said Paola's Pizza and Pasta. And there was a connecting tube of neon from pasta, the P and the A. So it said Paola's Pizza and Rasta. And I did not particularly care for this job, and I was a shit employee, and I fucking allegedly helped liberate a keg so that me and this dude named Charlie could go down to Portland and catch the fucking string cheese incident for their New Year's Eve show, which I hear was fantastic, but I remember next to none of it. At any rate, my roommate Kate had this guy come up to visit her. I saw something about Steve Buscemi up in the... This dude looks like Steve Buscemi's fucking smarmy younger brother. For real, dude. It's uncanny. So I beat this guy. My hours get cut at work. This dude is a Renaissance Festival employee year-round. He was up with us over the winter because you don't work in the winters. You work about 10 months out of the year. You go from permanent location to permanent location. These fair sites, there's about 30 or 40 of them all across the country. You have a circuit that you usually do. This guy sold puzzle rings and historical scientific navigational instrument replicas. He convinced me, as my hours were getting cut from work, to hop in his truck and join the Renaissance Festival. So I did. We do that, Mystery. Sometimes it's up to 15 minutes. So anyway, I get in the truck and I go to the fucking Arizona Renaissance Festival. We stop off in the like Piedmont area of Oakland along the way, help finish the house, do some drywall and shit like that. The house was entirely empty. Another Rennie dude was house sitting. Rennie is not a disparaging term. It just means people who travel year round and are employed at a business that operates out of a Renaissance Festival. So we stop in the Piedmont Hills. There, the fee for staying there, even though we would get paid for the work, there was a house. There's, a fucking basically like a hotel room fee, and it was to buy a 12-pack of Tecate for the homeowner. So when I got there, they'd been there for like several months, and the entire fucking hall when you walked in was 2 12-packs of Tecate deep. They were all in the middle of the fucking room in the first 3 rooms. I bet you that dude is still drinking that beer, which would be fucking disgusting. Any rate, Rook was the campground director. I got to know him. He did this thing called Cabriolet at the Renaissance Festival, which is basically like a rickshaw, but instead of bamboo and rubber tires, it's made out of solid oak and iron, and there's a guy up front and a guy behind where the people sit normally. And it was a pretty high dollar job, and so I had hit him up for one that became my job for a few years, carting drunk ass people around the Renaissance Festival as their human taxi for money. There are pictures of me and Rook dressed up like nuns in Minnesota, and also Star Trek characters, and also Batman and Robin, which was horrific because the tights for my Robin costume were like 9 sizes too small. And you could easily tell what religion I was. I will put it that way. Josh, let me know if I'm missing questions and shit. But at any rate, man, Rook's a homie. I've known him for a really long time. He's a fascinating individual. I remember right after the towers went down, that following year in Arizona, I would walk by people, 800 pounds of Arizona behind me. And I would whisper to passersby things like, Osama bin Laden was paid by the CIA to fight for the Mujahideen in the 1980s. And then, Cabriolet. And Rook would yell at me for that. I turned Rook into a conspiracy realist, and I'm going to make him admit that on the air. Okay. Okay. I'll go ahead and... Yeah, one-time deal for nearly 50 million unemployed. The entire U.S. got a question, or the entire U.S. got $1,200 one time that is in advance on 2021's tax credit. So if you're eligible for any sort of tax credit, that's where your $1,200 came from. I had a guy on the show actually named Caleb Lawrence, who's a registered investment advisor, but also like very libertarian about it. And he used to be on the radio here. He was on K-Pig. He would do the midday financial report, and like sometimes he would just give you how the local stocks were doing or how the market was behaving. And sometimes he would go on these epic, like 5-7 minute long smash the fucking state rants. It was beautiful. So when this was going down, I had him on the show. So Cosmos, about the whisper voice, I'm thinking about, and I'm not sure if I need a separate microphone for it, but I'm thinking about doing some sort of ASMR where I talk shit about people in the national security state and educate people on the national security state. But I don't want them to be like 45, 50 fucking minutes long. That would be obnoxious. What do I think the chances of UBI happening or of UBI happening? I don't know. I think if it does happen, it'll happen in a way that makes people even more enslaved by a tyrannical government ran by pedophiles and sociopaths. I don't think it'll be anything. I don't think it'll be beneficial. I think it'll be just enough to survive, and I think it'll be a way to make sure that that some form of universal health care does not happen in the United States, because what better way to keep people fucking hemmed in than to make sure they have to pay for their health care with their UBI. So they also have to have a job that sustains their bills and survival costs. And you've got people in the exact same spot that they are right now, except for instead of healthcare being tied to their job, their healthcare is tied to their UBI. Towers Comics. I was 14 when 9/11 was walking to school and I heard about it. Was into hacking and freaking culture at the time. Read 1984 and wrote an essay for the Patriot. Actually, that's fucking awesome. I was in Tuxedo Park, New York, which is right across the Tappan Zee Bridge from Manhattan. And we couldn't see the sun for like days. It was just blotted out by the fucking rubble cloud. It was gnarly. I read Guy Standing. No, I understand. I understand the pros of UBI. What I realize is that unless there is comprehensive systemic change in not just the US government, but like the Five Eyes countries in particular, and most governments, the way that UBI will be implemented will be nefarious as opposed to liberating. That's my whole point. Yeah, even in Andrew Yang's proposal, there was no fucking rent control. There was no cost controls. There was none of that shit. Does anyone think Hillary testifying in September will amount to anything? Fuck no. What I think it will do is dominate nearly every news cycle. And I think that you will see content creators now that have become more aware of what's going on get sucked right back into all we talk about now is the horse race, and we're going to dedicate X amount of our show to Hillary fucking Clinton again. That's what I think it will amount to. I think it'll amount to a brand new set of conspiracy theories, a brand new set of allegations, and all of them coming out of that professional pundit class. Will Hillary be wearing a mask on the stand? Hillary will probably not be wearing a mask, but like Nancy Pelosi, she'll have like an $8,000 fucking little face scarf thing hanging around her neck, as opposed to the one thing that Hillary Clinton deserves to have hanging around her neck, which of course is a noose. Yeah, fuck Stockton. Yeah, sorry, Josh. By the way, like, but my homie moved out of Stockton now, so like, you're my only friend in Stockton. I'm getting shit talked town. Mystery last night. LA County deployed two choppers and about 70 cops. 2 hours for a stolen car. Must cost $500,000. That one county has 120. Is that billion or million? That's billion. And that's billion with a B. Budget for protection services. Fuck. Yo, dude, they didn't even catch him. That's beautiful. If you haven't, and you're not familiar with Todd Snyder, he's one of my favorite singer songwriters. Like, his show is half him telling incredibly fucking funny stories and half him playing fucking story songs, which I love. I do. I love that shit. Fucking Jerry Jeff Walker is the guy's hero. He makes that perfectly clear within the first like 2 seconds of getting to know his music. But Snyder has a song called oh fuck. Is it? I think it's The Devil You Know. I'm gonna double check that here real quick. But it's a story about a dude who robbed a bank in his neighborhood. As a guy comes breaking into his house, and Snyder's first thought is, I should give this dude my keys. He'll be able to get away easier that way. I'd like the car back. I'm going to hang on to the money for you. You get out of here and you don't get caught. By the way, there's a lot of gas in it. There's a joint in the ashtray. Make sure I'm talking about the right song though here. Yep, that's the song. Todd Snyder, The Devil You Know. All about helicopters over his house trying to get a car thief. Rob Juno, thank you for the super chat, man. Could I maybe give this to Reverend Annie? Of course, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's fine. I know there's a way to donate. If you go to, I believe it's anniechambers.com. It might be Reverend Annie. Yeah, I know there's a way to donate to her directly though, and YouTube won't take 40% of it. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, man. The Courage Foundation. So I think it was last week. The Courage Foundation had an event that was like a webinar thing, and it was Julian Assange in his own words, and people who were, including Marjorie Cohn, who, if anyone knows how to get a hold of Marjorie Cohn, please let me know. We'd love to have her on the vigil. They were breaking it down. They were talking about it, and I went to go give somebody a link to it on Twitter, and first of all, like, I had to type in all of Courage Foundation's name. Nothing dropped down in the suggested in the search bar. So I type in that. They don't have the option of going directly to their channel. You have to click on a video and then click on the Courage Foundation's homepage in order to get to their homepage. That's how fucking how like just brutally shadow banned they've become on YouTube. And I know that my channel's been like that before too. One of the cops first on the scene ran over a couple of street signs and fucked up the patrol car. That's fucking fantastic. Alex, can we ring you and go live from San Francisco? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Alex, we need to have like a signal group that's people who are organizing the birthday events. Well, I've been going for about an hour. I wanted to only be on for like 45, but this has been fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap. Thank you for being a part of all of this. There's a ton of you who are also in the chat on the Assange vigils. Fucking love you guys for that. Thank you to Rob Juno and Matthew Dorr and Kathy Lloyd for the super chats. You guys fucking rock. Lubers is co-hosting that with you. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. And by the way, if you missed yesterday's Free Assange vigil, because the superseding indictment against Julian Assange is related to all of the cybercrime charges, they basically try to tie Julian Assange in as this sort of mastermind who was giving directives to Anonymous. And we went through the history of LulzSec and the fucking snitch ass rat motherfucker Sabu and the certified psychopath and convicted pedophile and also FBI asset Siggy, and broke down all of that. But the way that we reacted to the indictment trying to go after people who are quote unquote, anonymous, was to get someone from Anonymous on the show. And also Sean O'Brien, who is just a fucking resident A4A tech guru. And man, that guy, getting used to him so he doesn't break my brain as much anymore, but he always bruises it. And that was fantastic. So I'm going to get in an update on Julian Assange's case management hearing tomorrow. Tuesday, Free Assange Vigil kicks off our year anniversary of doing these 52 consecutive weeks of this, which is just fucking insane to me. We're going to do a special Friday vigil where everyone who wants to, who's a part of the A4A Discord, can come on to the show with us, and we're all going to hang out. We're going to celebrate Julian's birthday, and we're going to talk about whatever the fuck comes up. So that should be fantastic. If you're in the Discord, please chime in so that you can be a part of that. We can make sure that you guys have the link to the video call. Yeah, fuck, thank you guys. I'll see you soon. Thank you, Sleepy Josh, on the 1s and 2s. I fucking love that. My name's Steve Poikinen. This has been Slow News Day. Good luck to us all.